Not so fast, my friend. He started off with the dome is a difference.
Oh, yeah.
Syracuse wins an upset.
I'll go with Michael Phelps and all those gold medals. I think Georgia Tech's got some newfound confidence. I think Haynes King's the real deal. Remember Elijah Roberts, the DC from Syracuse, just his second game to get ready for this Georgia Tech offense. I like what you're saying, but I'm going Georgia Tech.
We resuscitated the generator, not to mention our producer, Jim Galliero, who needed the paddles in there for just a second. What about Calvin Auburn?
Might be a good idea.
Coach, earlier you talked about Auburn. I agree with you. I think Peyton Thorne, Hugh Freeze, they're going to get it done. I have Auburn by 2 scores over Cal.
Yeah, I think Auburn will dominate this game. Really, this is a hard place to play. And I think Auburn's got a lot more weapons this year than they had in the past, so I'm sticking with Auburn.
We've never been
Brooke, what we talking about breaking things?
There's been one man who stands at
do
6'4", who's been the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide in the same state. I will say Auburn wins now and has a great
there it is.
this
Okay.
season.
100% I'm with you. I'm backing up Auburn. That environment, that stadium, it's going to be loud. Auburn by a landslide.
Alex
Awesome.
McPherson, the
Appreciate
full
it.
field goal clear
Thank you.
for Auburn.
All right, welcome back to another installment of the 94 podcast. I know we were off last week, Labor Day weekend. A lot has happened, but yeah, definitely want to introduce myself. I am Brooke Edel, your host, joined here with my co-host, Jim Bushy. Welcome back, Jim.
Brooke, it's so nice to be back again. It's so nice to see your face. It's so nice to be on camera again. And it's always a pleasure to be here, man.
Awesome, man. Yeah, we didn't have both of us on camera for a couple weeks. So, yeah, it's nice to see your face, a friendly face across the way in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I know we're going to talk football. Are you ready for some football? Right?
Yeah.
Let's go. But, yeah, we want to start on a serious note. We had the passing of Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Gaudreau, hockey players. Johnny playing professionally in the NHL for the Calgary Flames and the Columbus Blue Jackets, and his brother also played at Johnny's alma mater, Boston College. So unfortunately, they were riding their bikes together, and they were struck by a drunk driver, and they both suffered fatal injuries. So both are, they're hurting. The Gaudreau family and the hockey community and the sports community as a whole is hurting from this major loss, and just another reminder of what drunk driving can do to our communities. But yeah, I'll let you kind of also share your thoughts on this tragedy.
Please, people, if you're going to drink, please be responsible. Please find a safe ride home. No one likes these stories. We hate covering them. The news hates covering them. Everyone hates covering them. Doesn't matter if it's a star athlete or if it's a random person on the street. Please, if you're going to drink and you're going to drink a lot, please find a safe ride home. Please. And Brooke,
yes,
I can make this even sadder if you want.
I mean,
because
we're on a very somber note. Yeah, you can continue. I have also another story that I wanted to touch on. But yeah, go ahead, Jim.
The brothers were in New Jersey for their sister's wedding the next night. So they canceled the wedding, I heard.
Yeah, their sister's wedding. Yeah, because of the whole incident, right? Because their sister's wedding was the next day. It was that Friday. They passed away on Thursday, and then the wedding was scheduled for Friday of Labor Day weekend. So yeah, very sad. And I know locally, my heart goes out to also there was a similar unfortunate incident with another drunk driver, but this time it was at a restaurant, bar, sports bar establishment right here in St. Louis Park, Minnesota. So it's a local story. It was called the Park Tavern. So that's the restaurant, Park Tavern. But a waiter and a patron both lost their lives, unfortunately. And then there's numerous people in critical condition at Methodist Hospital right here in Minnesota. So yeah, definitely my heart and condolences to the families of Christina and Gabe. That both lost their lives at the Park Tavern. And when you're in town, we definitely will have to check out the Park Tavern. It's a great patio and just a great community. It's a community bar, and you hate to see that in regards to people just making selfish decisions and breaking up families.
Yeah, agreed, and I'm down to do it, but like I said, doesn't matter if you're a superstar playing professional sports or you're a waiter, server. If you're going to go out drinking, especially on a holiday or any night, I know football's coming around soon, please find a safe way home. No one wants to hear these stories.
Especially, like, we are huge fans of the sport. We understand that drinking is also involved with sports and just the whole atmosphere. But yeah, like how hard is it just to call an Uber or call a friend? Like, you got to plan. You got to plan for a safe ride home, just to avoid these stories. We're just trying to just be an advocate for less of these stories that continue to come out. So we'll shift gears to a positive side here. We were 2 games in the NFL season. We had the Chiefs and the Ravens kick us off on Thursday. We'll get your thoughts on that. And then also we had a game in Brazil, Sao Paulo to be exact, between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers. Jim, I'll let you kick off with your reactions to game 1 of the season, Chiefs, Ravens. What were your thoughts?
Well, it was simple. Mahomes, throw it to 87. You're in my work fantasy league. Throw it to 87. And Lamar, throw it to Flowers. For goodness sake, come on, man.
He's wide open.
I need the point.
Yeah, Lamar said, like, in the presser, the post-game presser, he was like, hey, I was looking at Rashad Bateman, former Gopher, go Gophers, and he saw Zay Flowers, like, break out at the last moment, like, after the ball had already, like, he had already released the ball, and he just saw Zay break through in the flat. And when you see it in real time, you're like, that's just a bad throw. Like, he just missed him. He looked like Florida State's quarterback, DJ Ukulele. And he's getting the most, I guess, hate so far in the college football season. We'll talk college football, but, like, that's what that throw looked like. And Lamar can say what he wants, but, like, that's the job of a quarterback, is to make those throws. And, and sometimes you got to wait that extra beat, and then your guy's just going to break free. And then the final play. Then that was with 4 seconds left. Now let's break down the final play. Yeah.
That was wild. And I know I just said fancy, but, like, if you sit back and you watch the game, it was weird to see Mahomes not being Mahomes and doing this stuff. He did, like, 1 or 2 escapes, and he was able to get a throw off. But, like, he got escaped and sacked. He ran the ball. He didn't seem like Mahomes of the past. Same with Lamar. Now, at the end of the game, oh my goodness, that was some football. That was drama. You had 2 missed passes. Like you said, Flowers was wide open in the end zone. And then at the end, likely catching the ball, everyone's like, touchdown, we're going to overtime, game 1. You see Harbaugh going 2-2-2, like, get the 1.
No, he was ready to, like, rip the hearts out of those Chiefs fans at Arrowhead. The Isaiah Likely, he catches that. I'm watching this game at an establishment. I'm excited. I'm high-fiving, like, friends. I'm just like, oh, my God, like, this is exciting. This is NFL is back. Football is back. And then you see that the refs are about to make an announcement, and the Chiefs fans go crazy when they say that Isaiah Likely's foot was on the line. and if you didn't think Patrick Mahomes was a troll, after the game, he gives some advice to Isaiah Likely. Maybe you should wear white cleats next time. Like, oh wow! Like,
oh my goodness!
Yes, that was a masterclass of trolling by Patrick Mahomes. But yeah, like it was again like a script. It felt like a scripted game, right? It goes down to the final play. The tight end that is making all the plays all game. You can't make that one last play to send it to overtime, or they could have went for the win. Like you said, John Harbaugh was holding up 2, and they wanted to end the game right then and there. Oh, dang, dang.
You know, this game felt like what the AFC Championship game last year should have been.
I agree.
We had a close game. We had drama, and it just like last year just felt flat. This year, this was like, where was this? We needed this in the championship game. Can we have this again, please? Please, sir, may I have another?
Right. We were left wanting more in the last matchup between these two teams. As you mentioned, the AFC Championship game. They didn't have Derrick Henry, and it seemed like Derrick Henry had lost a step in this game because he never really got into rhythm at any point. And that was the whole reason that, we were thinking that the Ravens were going to employ him to really bruise the Chiefs in the second half. You saw a little bit of it. He had maybe an 8 or 10 yard run, and you'd be like, okay, is he going to get going now? And it never happened. And it felt like the Ravens offensive line got called for a lot of penalties too. And it was like these illegal formations that were like phantom illegal formations where you didn't see the Chiefs getting called for this formation. And it wasn't even in my opinion, when I saw some of the pictures, they were not illegal formations, but it seemed like that was kind of maybe the Chiefs piggy bank talking during the game. I don't know. Because these refs, it was just like, all right, are you guys calling it both ways in regards to how fair this game is turning out to be? Because I don't know. There was some questionable calls. We'll just say that. I'm not in any fear of getting fined by the NFL, so we can be a little critical of the refs. But yeah, but all in all, great game. I definitely got the bang for the buck, whatever you want to say in regards to getting football back. And then that leads us to game 2 that just happened in Brazil, of all places. They couldn't wear green. I'm wearing green today, but they couldn't wear green. Yeah.
They couldn't, but they did. I think they left because it wasn't football, but it was. I will say this, in the 2 games that I've watched, there's been too many penalties. Oh my goodness. Put the flags away. Let them play.
Right. Let them play. There's, I think it's a product of just early season, first game. Yeah. Nerves getting the best of some of these players. The
refs are trying to set a tone.
Yeah. Refs are trying to set a tone or an emphasis on some of these rules. Why couldn't they do that in the preseason? I don't need to have a rule book review in week 1. Please spare me. I know we still got more games coming up on the slate. We'll talk Vikings, Giants coming up. Yeah. But yeah, Packers and Eagles. What are your reactions? Let's get into that game.
Okay, there's one more thing I want to say about the Chiefs game was really interesting. I know the Packers game happened last night, but this really irked me, and I got to go through the rule books. But the assistant coach, I think it was the offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, I forget who, of the Chiefs, called timeout. But isn't that illegal? I think the head coach has to be done calling it.
So the assistant coach called timeout.
Yeah.
For the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you not pick that up?
I didn't pick that up. Okay, that's a good observation, Jim. Okay. That's interesting. Like, how are they allowing that? And
I was reading, like, okay, social media, you can't trust social media. You have to fact check it. So I'm not 100% sure on this. So please, someone out there, fact check me. Let me know. I always love to learn.
Can assistant coaches
apparently you're
call
supposed to
timeout?
get. Yeah, I don't think they can though.
Okay, I know players can call timeouts. And like anybody on the field, or they just need to get the officials' attention, and then they can call a timeout. But like assistant coach, that's interesting because you would think that Andy Reid, and I know Andy Reid is notorious for just being poor with time management. Like that's been kind of like his MO as a coach. But Patrick Mahomes, he helps put a lot of makeup on all that.
Yeah.
And Travis Kelce, for a big matchup, I think he had a kind of a mediocre game, to be honest. Like he had a big catch on third down, but besides that, I feel like the Chiefs, Xavier Worthy, he was a no-show in regards to like being like a key player in the game or the outcome. But Xavier Worthy, 2 touchdowns. He had the end around, and he had a nice touchdown pass as well that he caught. So, like, hey, Xavier Worthy, is he the next coming of Tyreek Hill? I know everybody's really hyping him up, but he definitely showed out. And this is after, I don't know, one of the analysts before the kickoff for NBC, Rodney Harrison, said, he's a small guy. He doesn't scare me. What does he do? 2 game-breaking touchdowns. And that was I believe it was the difference too, a touchdown. They won 27-20, right?
Yeah, because that touchdown got taken off the board.
Yep.
Well, that's everything I want to talk about the Chiefs game. I think that was important to talk about, but let's head down south. I don't know about you, Brooks, but would you take the 10 hours and 45-minute flight from the Midwest down to Sao Paulo or Sao Paulo? I know I pronounced that. Would you take that trip? Would you ever go with it?
I would. I mean, it would be a cool story. Like I think, I think it's definitely worth the trip. Just to have that story. Here, let me pull up some of the stats here. I'm just really giddy about this because I did some research on what it took for the NFL to pull this off for a Week 1 game in Sao Paulo.
Okay. Well,
all right. So okay. So for the Philadelphia Eagles, the flight was 9 hours and 30 minutes. So that's a commitment. Yep. For Green Bay, from where you are, Jim, it's 10 hours and 48 minutes. So it would probably be like similar for me. It'd probably be like an 11-hour flight from Minnesota. And then now it took 80,000 pounds of NFL equipment flown to Brazil from Green Bay and Philadelphia combined.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, this is not like soccer. NFL teams, they come with a travel party of 190 to 200 people. It's not just 60.
No.
And it took more than like 3 months, which is crazy. Like 3 months. What was going on 3 months ago? That was in June. So they had to plan this back in June for this to happen. So what a crazy, basically the logistics was just crazy in regards to pull this off.
You gotta give them props. They pulled it out of their ass, and they were able to get it done. I think the game was good. I think other than the penalties, a criticism I had was the turf. Everyone was just slipping.
Yeah. They were slipping on the first play of the game, and they were slipping on the last play of the game to the point.
Yeah.
What's it? They just got him from Tennessee. Malik, right? He was
Malik Willis.
Malik Willis, correct. He couldn't even get off the Hail Mary at the end of the game. So I was like, what are we doing? Like, this is not NFL quality turf. Like,
no.
Yeah. So that
it's like the Super Bowl again from 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Between
Eagles and Chiefs. Yep. And that was I believe that was in Glendale, Arizona.
Yeah, it was in Arizona. Yeah.
Yep. yeah, that was a lot of big plays in that Super Bowl. But yeah, people were falling and slipping everywhere, and that was the same case last night where there was a lot of slippage. Saquon Barkley looked like he was Bo Jackson in Tecmo Bowl, like 3 touchdowns, two in the ground, one in the air. So we got a hat trick, throw a tip of the cap to him. And he's helping my fantasy team. I'm sure everybody in my dynasty is like, dang, he has Isaiah Likely and Saquon Barkley. Like, what does this, like, all right, who is this guy? Like, we need to check him out. Like, he must have somebody in the inside. No, I don't have anybody in the inside in the NFL telling me who to play or who to draft this year. That was just like Saquon Barkley joining the Philadelphia Eagles. You put 2 and 2 together. He's leaving the Giants offensive line in the rear view, and he's gaining the Eagles offensive line. I think Saquon Barkley is world class, but I think the turf did help his stats a little bit because it's hard to tackle Saquon Barkley alone on the quality turf, but just imagine trying to tackle him where you're slipping and sliding like every other play. You can't. Good luck.
It's hard.
It is hard. Yeah, and that's what the Eagles did. They were able to come back. I think it was like the Packers had an early lead. I think in the first half it was like 19-14, and then the Eagles were able to overtake them in the second half just with the ability of the Eagles to have, I don't know, like a balanced attack. I don't know what's going on with the Packers. I mean, they did get Jacobs. How did Jacobs look, in your opinion?
He looks slow to start. He looks slow. And that's just because of age, but he's still a good running back. The turf probably didn't help him there. I think the guy they drafted, Reed, I think his last name was, he looked very good. He looked very capable of being a threat, both in the backfield and I think he's a running back. Don't quote. I think he's a running back. Yes, he was drafted this year.
Okay,
I think.
Is it Emmanuel? Is it Emmanuel Wilson? Is that
no?
What's his name?
Reed. His last name was Reed.
Oh, Jalen Reed.
Jalen Reed. Yeah.
Okay. So that, I believe he's a wide receiver, if I'm not mistaken.
I could be wrong. I would rather be wrong and be told right than...
Here, let's look it up. Jalen Reed, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Jalen Reed.
Jaden Reed.
Oh, Jaden. So J-A-D. Okay.
J-A-Y-D.
J-A-Y-D.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Jaden Reed is a wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers, and he had a game. So Jaden Reed caught 4 of his 6 targets for 138 yards and a touchdown, while adding a 33-yard touchdown run and a 34-29 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 1. So he was a fantasy stud. He's only 24. Oh, yeah. He's only 24. He's 5'11" for a wide receiver. $187. He's in his second year. He might be trending as their number 1 wide receiver. I know Green Bay doesn't really have a number 1 wide receiver because I feel like Jordan Love. We'll talk about Jordan Love because there was a scary injury with him too. But with Jordan Love, it seems like he's following the Packers blueprint of he doesn't really have a organic number 1. They're just gonna pass the ball to whoever's open.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I would rather have multiple targets that are threats than just one threat, because and I'll use this for example, Justin Jefferson. Everyone knows Justin Jefferson. He's gonna get the matchup, the toughest matchup. He's gonna be the one who gets double teamed, and yeah, he's gonna get you the catches. But like, if he's the threat, you really don't have anything else, so the teams can easily defeat him. Green Bay, they have multiple people who can do it, so at least then they can spread the ball around a little bit more, and they have to pick and choose who's going to cover who's going to get double teamed and all that. Who's going to get the matchup?
Right. It's a harder defensive assignment when you have multiple targets. I would totally agree with that. It just makes your offense that more versatile, that your fourth option as wide receiver, he can make that same play that you need on a big third down. It's 3rd and 7. You need him to make a catch for 10 yards, and you can trust that Jalen Naylor, he can make that catch. You're looking at Tristan Jackson, one of the rookies for the Minnesota Vikings. He's been trending well in the preseason. So this is a perfect transition now. Now we can talk Vikings a little bit, because Jordan Addison, I want to make sure that we can get some respect on his name in regards to, like, he's trending really well too in regards to what he did in his rookie season, in his rookie campaign, and now that he's going to be back for a second year. Obviously, it would have been different with J.J. McCarthy as his quarterback, but now he has Sam Darnold as his quarterback. So we'll see how he gels with Sam, because they were still making plays when we had Kirk Cousins go down. It just wasn't as frequent. That's all it was. Like, they're still beating their guys one-on-one. It's just the overthrows and the underthrows. That's what kind of killed the excitement for the Vikings offense. But now we got Aaron Jones, so it's going to be interesting to see how Aaron Jones is implemented, because now we get to see him for a full game, week 1 against the Giants. And again, this is a common theme so far. Met Field is probably one of the worst fields in the NFL. So expect a lot of big plays. So the defense, it could be, Malik Neighbors might be able to get past one of our corners. I know that we just had Stephon Gilmore just signed recently. I think he's probably going to draw that matchup, or they're probably going to be switching maybe Evans, like kind of cycle through, because I know that they're probably going to move Neighbors all over the field. And then that's going to be like the one weapon, I think, for the New York Giants, where you got to at least respect that, because he's world class. And he's coming out of LSU, which has recently turned into wide receiver university. And they also have some quality quarterbacks. Joe Burrow, I think you might have heard of him.
I don't know. He's just some guy who played there. He plays in the NFL now. I don't know. Is he a big dude?
He's just an average Joe. Just an average Joe.
Just average. Gotcha.
Slim Shady, right? Cool. All right. So we got some exciting games coming up in week 1. We got the Cowboys. They're going to be in Cleveland for Tom Brady's broadcast debut. So that'll be interesting to kind of see how Dak Prescott and Deshaun Watson are going to square off in Cleveland. What's your thoughts in regards to just some of the actions? Like, I know you can take a look at the full week 1 schedule. If you can pull up the week 1 schedule here, what games are you paying attention? Obviously, we're definitely going to be 100% honed in on the Vikings and Giants at noon kickoff. Let's go. Skull.
Skull.
I love it.
Just looking at the schedule right now, I'm looking at, because I'm gonna watch multiple games at once.
Absolutely.
Because I am crazy like that.
Yeah, I'm an NFL sicko too.
But other than the Giants Vikings game, I have my eye on the Bears Titans. I mean, see Caleb, see him start, see how he does. I might throw it out for a while. They're playing against well-led Tennessee Titans. They're playing in Chicago. Should be a good game. I think another game I'm looking forward to is the Falcons Steelers. I don't know why, but when I'm looking at the schedule, my eye draws right to it.
Okay. I mean, they do have like a good history of games. I mean, like, I think one of their games back when like Michael Vick was a quarterback, like, was like one of the first ever ties that I've ever witnessed. Atlanta and Pittsburgh, somehow they just bring the best out of each other. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I was scrolling down and I had to change my mind there. No, this game, I don't care. It's week 1. The Colts Texans. That's going to be the game of the week.
Okay, all right. Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. Okay.
Pump the brakes.
Hold on. You said Texans and Texans and Colts. Okay, so
Colts.
Anthony Richardson. I almost said Anthony Edwards. Anthony Richardson and then C.J. Stroud. Yeah. This is definitely like a young quarterback duel, and I don't know if they played last year because I think Richardson he might have gotten hurt before one of their games.
I'm not sure. I think they might have.
They might have because he played like about 6 games last year, so he might have faced them maybe in one game. But yeah, I could definitely see that being a really good game. The other game that, again, I would say Rams and Lions. That might be the game of the week for Sunday at least.
Sunday that deserves the Sunday night game. I think Matthew Stafford goes back to Detroit. The banner gets raised. Like the question is I'm gonna ask you: does Stafford deserve to be in the Lions Hall of Fame? Not NFL, but the Lions.
Yes, I would say yes. Like I think Matthew Stafford has done so much for the Detroit Lions. I know that they had some down years, and but he was he did stick it out with them. He did stick it out with them as long as he could, and he kind of did the Kevin Garnett career trajectory of he stayed with the team for so long. They couldn't build around him. I mean, he had Megatron, and because they went 0-16, they were able to draft Matthew Stafford. So he does have a special connection to the Detroit Lions. So I believe, in my opinion, that he belongs in the Lions Hall of Fame. Like, when I think of the Lions, I still think of Matthew Stafford as one of their top players.
I mean, I do too. Like, growing up, he's been a stable quarterback. He was so good. He just was surrounded by bad teams. He was on bad teams. And I'm glad that when he got to Los Angeles, to the Rams, that he finally got his ring. That's like one of those stories where you read, like, this guy, he's on a team. They suck. And he wants to stay there, but he knows that he's not going to get a ring. And the team's like, that's fair. We understand. We failed you. Let's get a win-win for both of us. And I think that was a great win-win for both teams in that trade right there. Would you agree?
I would agree, 100%. Like, look what the Lions did last year. The first time in 30 years, they won a division and they won a playoff game against Matthew Stafford. So yeah, it was definitely a win-win. I'm sure the Rams are like, hey, we got a Super Bowl out of it. I mean, they can't complain with that. You put a banner up. The Lions. They're putting the division banner up, correct? I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I hope they're not putting an NFC. I mean, they were in the NFC Championship game, but like they were so close to making it to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I know the 49ers. They kick off on Monday, so we'll talk about that game a little bit later too. I know, but with Lions, they're putting up the NFC North banner. That's going to be a special emotional night. I have Lions winning this game because I think it's just going to be so much like juice, emotion. Yeah, and football is an emotional game. I think the crowd is going to be electric at Ford Field, and I think they're going to carry them to victory. I think mind you, this is going to be a breakout year for Jameson Williams, because like I feel like Williams, he's definitely matured from the time that he's started the NFL to now. I think he gets it, and now he knows that he has a legit quarterback in Jared Goff. So that should be an exciting game. I'm hoping for fantasy that Matthew Stafford throws for a party, like 4 or 5 touchdowns. I'm cool with that. And if they're to Cooper Kupp, even better. He's on my fantasy team. And DeMarcus Robinson. So like I'm definitely all in on the Rams. I just picked them up. So sneaky pickup. But hey, shout out to Dynasty Best Ball. Should definitely next if we have an opening, Jim, I'm gonna get you in that league because I know we're in a league too.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Well, we can discuss that after the week 1 talk, because I want to ask you, what games are you interested in watching this week, other than like Tom Brady's first game commentating? Like, yippee! Like, don't get me wrong, the dude is the GOAT.
Yes.
But like, he's not playing anymore, unless he's like Tony Romo, who actually knows the play. We got to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll
what
see.
games are you interested in?
Okay, what games I'm interested in? Okay, so I'm taking a look at the schedule here for week 1. There's a couple games here. All right, I think another game that I am very interested in seeing is I want to see what happens in this game between. I want to see what happens with Cardinals and Bills. A lot of question marks in that game. Kyler Murray, Josh Allen. Both these quarterbacks are coming off a season where, they didn't have everything shake out the way that they wanted it to. The Bills were supposed to at least make it to the AFC Championship game, but they end up losing to the Chiefs. The damn
at
Chiefs at home. You had Patrick Mahomes right where you wanted him, and you couldn't get it done. Like I think Bills Mafia somehow they have to break the curse against the Chiefs. But it starts week 1 against against Kyler Murray in the Cardinals, right? And then also I want to see Marvin Harrison Jr. And there's a story about his dad also getting sued by Fanatics in regards to like,
I remember you saying.
I remember teasing this before about how they're getting sued by Fanatics in regards to name, image, and likeness, like what they signed in regards to memorabilia. And then now they're saying that, his son, Marvin Harrison Jr., didn't agree to that, that contract, that legal contract, that it was actually forged by Marvin Harrison Sr. So that gives you just another plot line. And then it'll be interesting to see what Josh Allen, and a lot of people are saying Josh Allen should be favored for MVP. I'm like, okay, they lose Stephon Diggs. They lose Matt Milano. So they lose a couple of key pieces in the recent years and their recent success. So that'll be interesting to see what type of Buffalo team and what type of Arizona team comes out of that week 1 matchup. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be watching the Jets and 49ers, rightfully so. The 49ers were in the Super Bowl last year, but then it comes back to Aaron Rodgers' first game since tearing his Achilles.
That is going to be interesting. Since the Jets are not home, I'm pretty sure he doesn't need to worry about the turf.
Right.
But
he still has 8
the guy
games.
who injured him.
Yep.
Yeah.
The guy that
But
injured
the guy
him.
who injured him is on San Francisco.
He's on San Francisco. You can't make that up. You can't make that up. No. The script writers are just they're going crazy. Just like Ivan Pace just gave the Giants some bulletin board material, and he was quoted saying, "We about to go crazy." And this is a quote from Vikings linebacker. I believe it too. Vikings linebacker Ivan Pace Jr. gives the Giants bulletin board material ahead of week 1 matchup. So, hey, he's the defensive quarterback, or he's going to wear the green dot for Brian Flores' defense. I'm excited to see what that will bring. But yeah, already we're getting some trash talk between these two teams. Okay, Atlanta. You said Atlanta and Pittsburgh was one of those games you're watching. I'm also interested to see what happens there, because we got Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix. And then these are the two teams that have 2 quarterbacks, Michael Penix, Kirk Cousins, and then for Pittsburgh, it's Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. Who's going to outplay? Are they going to both play? What do you think is going to happen in regard? I think Kirk is going to play the full game, unless obviously there's any injury. But with Pittsburgh, I think I could see Mike Tomlin being like, "All right, Russ, you're going to sit out the second half if you're not able to perform."
Oh, yeah, first of all, Kirk's going to be playing. They're paying him all that money. They don't want to pay all that money for a backup quarterback. So he's going to be playing the whole game. Now, Pittsburgh, on the other hand, I mean, Wilson was named the starter, but it all depends on who plays better. I don't think Mike Tomlin's going to sit there and be like, oh, you're the guaranteed number one. You're going to play. You're going to be backup. No, he wants to win. He has never had a losing season or losing record per season. So I don't think first of all, I don't think he gives a crap about that. He probably wants to just go out there and win this game coming up now.
Right.
But like knowing him, like I would probably want to win the game. I want the best quarterback out there. I want the best team out there who I can have out there, and I want to win this game. So it could be a split. It's probably like who's going to take the ball and run with it.
Exactly. Yeah, that'll be an exciting game to watch at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Kirk Cousins' home opener as the brand new quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. Make me feel some type of way. Recipes Rich Homie Quan, that's an Atlanta rapper. But when we're actually looking at the rest of this matchup, I am excited to see if Bijan Robinson is able to take that pressure off because I think TJ Watt is going to be hunting Kirk Cousins all afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that should be interesting to watch that game. And I agree with you. CJ Stroud, one of my favorite players to watch in the NFL. That's going to be in Indianapolis, Lucas Oil Stadium. So, yeah, that's going to be a great game in regards to the AFC South, and that's going to speak volumes to, again, a potential MVP candidate, CJ Stroud. Do you see that happening? Do you think that's just a lot of pressure, or do you think he's able to duplicate or do even more off his rookie season?
It all depends. Is he going to have his sophomore slump? Is he going to regress? I don't think he's going to regress. I haven't watched a lot of preseason games because preseason your starters start for like 3 drives and you're done for the rest. So like this is a wait and see type thing. I would love for him to take the next step forward and bring Houston back in the playoffs and bring him deeper into the playoffs and give Mahomes a run, give Allen a run, give Lamar a run, give Tua a run for his money, and not just sit there and be like flaming out after the first season. So it's a lot of wait and see. It could be a MVP season, but it's just a wait and see right now.
Exactly right. It's a wait and see. It's a lot of great quarterback play. I could definitely see Joe Burrow being in that conversation, but I have him right now as comeback player of the year. I mean, of course, if Aaron Rodgers throws up for 40 touchdowns, he's going to win it. But I have him as a strong candidate right now for comeback player of the year. What's also interesting is to see the player that won comeback player of the year last year go up against the number 2 pick in Jaden Daniels. So it'll be the Washington Commanders and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in one of the late games. So that'll be interesting to see. Did Chicago make the right pick? And right now, Chicago is feeling good because Caleb Williams was named one of their captains, which is impressive. I'm impressed by that because that was the biggest thing going into the season, that they didn't know if he was going to be able to win the locker room, because they were like, hey, is he mature enough to actually take the number 1 QB1 status and really take the keys of a whole franchise? And I know the Chicago Bears fans are like, don't put any type of hex on him. But I think he's going to have a good game. I think he's going to have a good game to start. And I also think he's going to have a good season. 4,000 yards, I think he's going to be their first 4,000-yard quarterback, because he has Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, who they just drafted out of Washington, so he's a rookie too. So I think they're set up for success right away. But it's going to be really exciting to watch all these rookies play in their first NFL game. So that's another exciting, I guess, another layer to week 1. You get to see all these debuts. You get to see Dallas Turner for the Minnesota Vikings. I know it's defense, but like it'll be exciting to see if you can get to Daniel Jones once or twice. That'd be really cool.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it'd be nice. And you know what? Week 1, rookies are gonna probably stand out. No one's seen it before. Yeah, there's tape, but week 1 is week 1. Week 1 is okay. We're gonna have the contenders or the pretenders, and we just gotta wait and see. I will say this: you could put sleeper right across my forehead. I don't care. I think this game could be a good sleeper. The Saints, the Carolina.
Ooh, right, right. Saints, Carolina. Bryce Young in year 2 for Carolina, and you get
more time to develop.
Yeah, he added more. Yeah, more time to develop. He has more weapons. He has Xavier Legette, and he's a character for Carolina already. And then you have the New Orleans Saints, and the Saints are trying to bounce back after a disappointing season. Everybody almost projected them to win the division last year, but then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers came out of nowhere, and they were able to win the division, and then they were able to host a playoff game. And people forget, if you win your division, you get to host a playoff game. It doesn't matter what your record is. You get to host a playoff game. And they went on, and then they beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Eagles may have righted the ship, but you just don't know week to week, season to season. Now, we'll see if the Saints will stay with Derek Carr. How long? Like, how short is Derek Carr's leash? Like, do you think he's going to get benched for Spencer Rattler at some point?
At some point, maybe. It depends on how the season goes, but I think Carr needs to turn around. Don't get me wrong. He needs to turn it around. He needs to make sure everything is A-okay. Like, he needs to step up this year. He could get benched. And it all depends on his play. If not, I mean, hey, Saints, we'll give you a 3rd-round pick for him. Come on. We'll give you Darnell, too.
Oh, my God.
Sorry. As you can tell, I'm not a big fan of Darnell watching him play, but I'm going into the season starting at 9 o'clock, right when I get off of work tomorrow morning. I'm going out, leaving work. I'm leaving all the negatives behind.
Sure.
And it's a new, fresh season. He's my quarterback for right now. Hope he does great. And
exactly.
We
again, he's not my number 1 choice for quarterback, but like, here we are.
Yeah.
We're going into September, week 1, September 8th. He's going to be week 1 starter. And yeah, like, I think with Sam Darnold, we were talking about this on Thursday for the NFL kickoff. He just needs to stick in there and take the hits, because like it's going to be similar to the season that we had with Case Keenum, because no one is expecting us to do too much in the NFC North. Like, again, our offense, I've said this over and over again, we're not going to outscore majority of the NFC North, like in head-to-head matchups. So we need the defense to become more of the identity of the team. But with what Sam Darnold could do to impress me is protect the football. If he can protect the football, and I know that he was in San Francisco's system, so it'll be interesting to see, has he learned those habits of protecting the football? Or is he going to regress to what he was in New York, where he was seeing ghosts, where he was in Carolina, and he had a nice start to the season. I think he started the season 3-0, wherever it was, 3-0, and then once they started actually playing some winning football teams, then he got exposed, and then the season went and it got tanked. So that's what I want to see from Sam Darnold in like the first couple of games, because he's our quarterback until further notice. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't see them making a trade at this point. I think they've dug in their heels and they're like, hey, Sam Darnold, that's why we went out and we acquired him in the offseason, because we were like, hey, we saw what we had with Joshua Dobbs, and even Jaron Hall is no longer in the team. Now he just signed with the Seattle Seahawks. And so and we got Rippon, I think, from the Denver Broncos to sign on. So right now it's literally Sam Darnold has every opportunity to audition for a job for next season. So that's how I view it. It's his opportunity to audition for a job for next season. So very similar to what we saw in 2017 when Sam Bradford went down. Obviously, it's not the same level of like, oh my God, that's our franchise quarterback. What are we going to do now? It's JJ's first year. We still have plenty of seasons to see what JJ can do for the Minnesota Vikings. So I don't see any way that Sam Darnold could parlay this into it full time. We never know. We never know, but it starts week 1. He needs to be Daniel Jones, another struggling quarterback. We can talk about Daniel Jones. Do you think Daniel Jones will get benched at some point? Because I feel like Drew Lock is right on his heels in regards to, or what's that Italian kid's name? Tommy DeVito?
Tommy DeVito, yeah.
Yeah, Tommy. I was going to say Danny DeVito, but like, yeah, that's always sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean, he can easily get benched. I don't see why he wouldn't.
Right.
If he's not playing well, don't bother.
Right. Brian Dable is coaching for his job right now. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, like, why are we doing this? Why like, he doesn't deserve, if he's going to be that way, I don't think that it's going to be possible.
Agree. All right, predictions. Let's get predictions for all the big games that we just talked about, and then we'll move on to college football, and then we'll wrap up with some baseball talk and just talk some standings, because it is September right now. So baseball is wrapping up. There's going to be playoffs here soon. So, but first, let's get some predictions. Vikings, Giants. What's your prediction?
Vikings, Giants. I'm going to go Vikings win by field goal. It'll be a last-second field goal to win at the Meadowlands. Turf Monster will take two to four players, I think, evenly spread on both sides, but we'll see.
Okay. So Vikings by field goal. Okay. I got Vikings. Yeah. I think they win by a little bit more of a margin. I got Vikings by 2 scores. I got Vikings by 14, 28-14. I feel like we seal it with a pick 6 from Daniel Jones. We owe the Giants, because the last playoff game that I was able to attend, we lost to Daniel Jones and the Giants. So we definitely owe Daniel Jones a get back. So we'll get back with a 1-0 start. Vikings win 28-14. All right. Another game that we want to get is Atlanta. Kirk Cousins, our former quarterback in Pittsburgh, or against Pittsburgh, but in Atlanta.
Ooh, I mean, I'm gonna go with Atlanta. I don't think Pittsburgh really has gelled yet. I think Atlanta has the young guns. They have the quarterback. They have a rookie quarterback who they're trying to get better, who is going to learn behind them. So it all depends, really. And I really do think that I really do think Atlanta has the advantage.
Okay. I would agree with that. I feel like Atlanta has the advantage. I think they just have a better overall team, and then they made some key additions on defense. I mean, they went out and they got Justin Simmons, former Broncos safety. They got pass rushers, like edge rushers, so to really key in on what they're trying to accomplish on both sides of the football. Obviously, Kirk Cousins signing, that was huge. The one thing that does concern me though, Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is already he's already like on the injury report, and sorry to all the people that are have invested in Kyle Pitts in fantasy, or if they're an Atlanta Falcons fan. Very tough sledding right now. But I got Atlanta winning this game. I'm going 30 to 17. I just feel like 30-17. I just don't feel like the Steelers have gelled all the way on offense. I know they're a lot better than last year when they had Matt Canada calling their plays, but I still don't see what type of identity that they have. They didn't score any touchdowns in the preseason. That's concerning as an offense. Okay. Yeah. All right. Moving on to our second to last game here that we're going to predict. Browns Cowboys. We got to talk about this game. Browns Cowboys.
Browns Cowboys. Okay. Browns Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb, new contract. Dak still waiting on a new contract. You got Browns who are coming off a good year. Ooh, I'm going to go upset here. I'm going to go Browns 23-20.
Okay. I'm going Browns too. Cleveland! In my LeBron James voice, right? Yeah. I'm going Browns. I think Myles Garrett is going to tee up on Dak Prescott and just wreck the game. That's what I'm expecting. Some pass rush, and then just in general, I think Cleveland is going to have the dog pound lit all afternoon. Oh, yeah. So I got Browns winning this game. If I throw a score out, I'd say 24-21. Yeah, it's going to be close, but I feel like the Browns have enough to get past the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. All right, so final game that we're going to predict, and we're going to shift over to college. Right. Yeah, go ahead. If you want, go ahead, say something.
I'm going to give you a game.
Okay.
Broncos, Seattle. Ooh. In Seattle, it's a 3:25 start time. I'm looking at the blank here. Seattle is a -6 spread with an over/under of 41.5, but Denver has the money line plus 220.
I'm going. This is tough, man. This is a good game. I'll take Bo Nix. I'll take Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. Right. Yeah, I'm going Broncos. I know this is a tough game because I don't know what to expect of Geno Smith. Are we going to get good Geno? We're going to get bad Geno? We're going to get ugly Geno? I don't know. We don't know. With the new coach, I'm going Broncos, even though I don't like Sean Payton. But yeah, I'm going with Bo Nix and the Broncos. I believe in Bo Nix. He's impressed thoroughly in preseason, and I feel like Cortland Sutton, and I hope that he's able to stay healthy because the Broncos, they haven't had a quarterback since Peyton Manning.
All right, so I'm writing down our picks here.
Sure,
I'm writing down our picks here. And
who do you got in that game?
I'm taking. I want to take Bo Nix, but I think I'm thinking to take Seattle just to be different.
Okay, yeah, just so we at least have some different picks, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna keep track of our picks.
Sure.
And each week, the loser has to do something, like wear a funny shirt. They have to
I'm game.
Wear a hat. They have to sing. You get a punishment.
Yeah, exactly. You get a punishment, right? Who's going to be the top dog, right? Who's going to be the top dog in the 94 podcast, right? In regards to the NFL picks. I got you. All right. Yeah. I mean, we got some good college football action right now. We got Arkansas and Oklahoma State underway. Arkansas already up 7-0. Are you watching some of the college football this afternoon?
When when I can, I will. Like, I want to watch the Notre Dame game because I'm a big Notre Dame guy.
Okay.
But I think that I'm probably going to get up at like 5-ish, so I get some more sleep. 5 o'clock, then go to watch whatever game's on there. Going to relax. Going to try to catch everything. But I think Alabama's on tonight. They're playing Southern Florida, so that should be a good game.
You're right. Alabama's playing South Florida. Yep. And
so that should be a good game.
Notre Dame is playing Northern Illinois at 2:30.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's just like, yeah.
What about Miami? Miami looked good against Florida.
They did.
Cam Ward, I think he is on that early Heisman watch. You got to put him in that Heisman conversation. They're not ranked yet, but I think come next week we're going to see Miami in the top 25 because I think they're going to take care of Florida A&M today at I think it's 5 p.m. Central. And then also it looks like Arkansas is up 14-0 on number 16 Oklahoma State. So we got an upset brewing in Stillwater. So already on upset watch on the 94 podcast. Another upset that's brewing is Bowling Green up 17-7 over Penn State. Yes. And you got Georgia and Tennessee Tech. So you never know. I mean, like Georgia could have a letdown because, whenever you're playing like one of these like smaller schools and then you just came off of like a huge emotional win against Clemson, Georgia better be ready. You can't have a slow start.
Yeah.
Can't have a slow start because these teams, they know that they can define their program by beating a Georgia or beating an Alabama. When they play South Florida knows that they can get recruits if they can beat Alabama.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're talking about teams in like the top 25, like who is like you beat them, it's like a mental boost. What happened to Seminoles?
I know.
What's going on?
Yeah, they lost to the Ramblin' Wreck and Georgia Tech in Ireland, in Dublin, when we last had the 94 podcast. That game was still going on, but then they lost that game, and then they follow it up, and then they lose to Boston College on Labor Day. Ooh, just a bad start for Florida State. And they were complaining about not making it to the national championship game. And I feel like their coach needs to focus on the season and not be worried about what all the fans are belly aching about, because you still got to win games this year. And they're in danger right now. They're in danger of just ending the season unranked, which is insane to think about, right? Yeah, we're already 2 weeks in, and you can already say that Florida State is done for their season. Right? Yeah.
If they want to make the playoffs, they're going to have to win their conference.
Right. They have to run the table. They have to go 10-2. Just to win the conference, and it doesn't help that they lost to a conference rival in Boston College and Georgia Tech. So like they're already 0-2 in the conference. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough. What's the biggest game that I'm seeing here? I know that Arizona impressed me, but they might have one of the best wide receivers in T-Mac right now, because like he had video game numbers last week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then also Texas and Michigan. I think that's a big game that we have to, at least at the end of quarter number 1, Texas is up 7-0. Arch Manning, obviously famous football bloodline, nephew of both Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, son of Cooper Manning. So he is the backup to what's his name? Colin Ewer or Quinn Ewers? Quinn Ewers. Yeah. Yep. So that's another Heisman hopeful for Texas. So that's going to be another game that we're going to keep an eye on here. Are you a big fan of Michigan, or do they play Notre Dame this year?
They might. I mean, gosh, if they did it, I don't think they do this year. But if they did, it'd be probably in the playoffs.
Okay.
If it comes to it, yeah.
Okay, I could definitely see that. Notre Dame though, they looked impressive. They were able to go to College Station, and they were able to take care of business. I really like their coach Freeman. He's a really good leader. He's got them where they need to be, and I'm excited for the game where Notre Dame is going to be playing USC. That should be, I think, one of those games that you circle like down the line. I think that's like in November, so a few months away, but I think that potentially could have some playoff implications on who's going to make the playoffs and who's not. Right. And then
Definitely,
absolutely.
Whoa, gosh.
Penn State with a score right now. Penn State with a score, so it's 17-13. Okay, what was your thought just now?
God, I was gonna say they looked okay. I didn't like their defense, but they did good. I'm glad they won, so that's what I care about. That's all that matters. They don't ask how; they ask how many.
Right.
So a win's a win.
Win's a win. Right. They all count the same at the end of the game. It's a win. Right. They're not going to ask you how you got the win. It's just, did you get it done or not?
Yeah. I remember. Gosh, I caught like the end of like the Oregon game, and it was an upset watch.
Oh yeah, Idaho, the Vandals.
And they almost upset Oregon, and that was like would have been awesome if that happened.
It would have been bedlam. And it was in Eugene too, so that would have been insane. Dillon Gabriel losing his home opener with Oregon.
Oh yeah!
Wow. Because that would have been a disaster for Oregon, but it would have been just a cool moment to see Idaho I know they're in the FCS because they got regulated to a lower they went down a grade in regards to their college football division, but that would have been cool to see David beat Goliath in that matchup. That would have been really cool. Yeah.
And this is when you get the week 1 or week 2 are the one, or even week 0 are upset cities. That's the best time to watch for upsets. You'll get them later in the road, but this is are we contenders now? Maybe a good team, maybe. But
right.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be good. But LSU, they don't like to play week 1.
Brian Kelly, right?
Losing,
he's losing. Losing is a tradition at LSU at week 1. Yeah, they've struggled. They've struggled, and they I think Florida State needs to schedule LSU week 1 to just kind of avoid those bumps, because there was a couple of years in a row where Florida State was able to take care of LSU, but LSU was 0-5 in his tenure on week 1s, and he's at the point where he's pounding the desk. That's how frustrated Brian Kelly has gotten. So I don't know. Yeah, the SEC, you can't be losing these games, especially when you have a lead and you get complacent. And watching that game, I was like, what is LSU doing? They're gonna let this game slip, because USC was just hanging around all game. Yeah. All right. So we're wrapping up here, and want to talk about Iowa State, and then Colorado and Nebraska. A lot of huge rivalries still. I know it's week 2, but huge rivalries. I feel like Iowa has to win this game if they want to be taken seriously. You got to beat Iowa State. And then Colorado, they got to beat Nebraska if we're going to take them seriously. So this is going to put up or shut up kind of moment in regards to both these programs. What's your thoughts in regards to Colorado and Nebraska? Nebraska has a quarterback in Dylan Raiola, Dominic Raiola's son. I believe Matthew Stafford is his godson. So it's insane in regards to these football circles. Yeah.
I as much as I want Coach Prime time to be like the best of the best next to go, I gotta go Nebraska. I mean, yeah, God, it's gonna be tough, but I think
it's gonna be a prime time.
I think
game.
it's put up or shut up for both teams. Yes, it's week 2, but it's put up or shut up at this point. Because if you're not one of those big powerhouse schools where people are like, you better make this, you better do this, you better be in the playoffs, you can't lose a game. Like, these games are important. These games are like, hey, like, this is a named school. People know about this. We get this dub, we can change our trajectory. We can make the playoffs. We can be top 12, make the playoffs. We can be top of our division. Or
right, you can win a conference. You can be in a conference championship game. Right, it's that level of like, all right, are you ready for that moment to take that next step? Because Nebraska is in the Big Ten, where now you got USC in the Big Ten. So the Big Ten is not going to be a cakewalk in other respects. Like the Big Ten West just got that much harder. So this is going to be a huge game for Nebraska. I got Colorado just for the fact that they got the best player in Travis Hunter. And I want to get your opinion on this. Like, all right, so I got Colorado, you got Nebraska. That'll be the game that I'm going to be definitely keyed in on later this Saturday. But I want to get your opinion on RG3 saying that Travis Hunter could play both sides of the football. So Iron Man, could he play Iron Man in the NFL? I want to get your take on that, and then we'll shift to baseball.
It's bold. It's bold. I mean, college. I mean, it could be done because like you have like a certain amount of players who are scholarship. You have a certain amount of players who got recruited to go there, and then you have like walk-on. So like you'll need someone to play both sides. Professional, it will never happen. I mean, it could happen like once or twice, but it won't be a game every game both sides of the ball. I think he's going to, if he does that, he's going to wear himself out. The wear and tear is going to get to him. So it's I mean, it would be cool to see, but like I don't think it's the smart thing to do.
Okay. I would say like he would need to be in like certain packages, kind of like what Dion, his head coach, was able to do when he played in the NFL. Like they would have him out there for certain packages where he would be maybe like a decoy, or they would have him play wide out for a specific reason where like they're like, hey, we see something where we want to exploit that. Big touchdown by Oklahoma State, by the way.
Pick six?
Yeah, pick six, big time. Take it back to the house. But yeah, like I think that Travis Hunter has the ability to do it, and I think because financially it's smart, because he can get more money if he's playing wide receiver. Because you see all these wide receivers. You see Justin Jefferson. You see CeeDee Lamb. And you know that George Pickens. All these young wide receivers that are so athletic and have that ability just to like do a lot of things for their teams. They're getting paid, and compared to what a corner is able to demand in that market share is not as much. So for him, it makes sense for him to at least play both sides, but it would have to be like a specialized package. Because I agree with you, he can't do that full time. Like you're just begging for an injury to happen, because you're not going to be able to play all snaps, or like almost like 95% of the snaps, or 94% of the snaps here on the 94 podcast. You can't do it. You can't do it, man. Like
no, you can't.
No. All right. So shifting gears, baseball now. How about those Cubs? No hitter, first no hitter in 52 years. Showa with the no hitter. I mean, it was a combined no hitter. I think they could have kept him in a little bit longer, but it's all right. again, we got the end result. We got the win and the no-hitter, so that was cool. But baseball it's winding down. We're talking about wild card. Let's take a look at the MLB standings.
Oh yeah.
All right.
And I'm sorry, but if you had taken out, and I don't care, you can get mad at me at all.
Sure.
It should not be a no hitter. You should not be like celebrating a combined no hitter. Like, unless the pitcher gets hurt, the pitcher should be able to go the full game, regardless of when he got in. He should be able to throw it himself. None of this. We're going to take you out, and we're still going to get no hitter. We're going to celebrate no hitter, yay! Like, no. It's like, cool. You have a reliever coming in to finish your job. Your job was to start the game. You got all the way through to whenever you did. No hit anyone. And they take you out?
Yeah, it was a buzzkill. It was definitely a buzzkill because, like, you want to see if the pitcher that started the game can complete that no-hitter. Right.
Yeah.
I would
I'm
agree with
not worried
that.
about pitch count and all that. I'm just like, come on, man.
No, it would have been nice to see history be completed by the starting pitcher. But nonetheless, they got the no-hitter, and they're still going to count it as a no-hitter. Now let's take a look at the division. Yeah, let's take a look at the wild card too. AL East is being led by the Baltimore Orioles. No, it's not the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Orioles are leading the AL East by a half a game over the Yankees. Jim's anybody but the Yankees, right? Jim's beloved Red Sox. I mean, they're 10.5 out. Are they in contention for the wild card?
They're 5 games out behind Minnesota.
Okay.
So, but we still need to jump Seattle. But our pitching's been terrible. Our hitting's been terrible lately. It's hard to like watch these games where it's like you see the talent on the field, but they don't live up to it. Right. It's like, okay. I mean, yeah, the Twins at 76 and 65, the local team here in Minnesota. And we got the Royals at 77-65. Is that the other wild card team that I'm seeing here? And also, the Mariners are right in front of the Red Sox. Okay. So it's Yankees, Kansas City, and then Minnesota. 3 wild cards right now.
Yankees, Kansas City, and Minnesota are the 3 wild cards. 3 division leaders are Orioles, Baltimore Orioles, the Cleveland Guardians, and the Houston Astros. And remember when Houston was just they were in the dumps. They were down in the dumps. I don't know. I don't know. This is like the zombie Houston Astros. They were dead, and then they're now undead. I don't know what's going on. Like, yeah, the Astros are now leading the division by 4.5, and everybody thought that it was going to be the Rangers division to lose this year. It looks like Houston's going to be in contention for October baseball again. Yep. All right. So now going to the National League, let's talk about my Cubs. They've been on a nice tear though. The last 10 games they went 7-3. They're 9 games behind the Milwaukee Brewers. I think they're right now in the wild card standings. Are they 4 games back? 4 games back? 5 games. Okay, so so 5 games back. So Philadelphia is leading the NL East. Then we have the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves tied for second in the NL East. And then now we also have the Cardinals behind the Chicago Cubs at a game behind. And then the NL West, we have the LA Dodgers. And Shohei Ohtani just made history, though. He had 40 home runs and 40 stolen bases. 40-40 club.
Dude, a beast.
He's a beast.
I would have sold my not saying I would, but hypothetically, I would have sold my soul for him to be a Red Sox. But that's not going to happen. So I get to keep it.
Yep. You get to keep it.
But like,
he's a monster.
If any team could just hand him a blank check, like whatever you want, we're paying you. And that's how good that guy is. He deserved every cent. He's not even pitching, and he's putting up these numbers. Like, when have you ever seen a pitcher, Tommy John surgery, DH, and put up these numbers?
I've never seen it. This is uncharted territory, Jim. And Shohei Ohtani is continuing his greatness and his excellence. I should say excellence right now, because he has the Dodgers in first in the NL West, highly contested. I mean, the Padres are right on their heels. The Padres just blew a big game against the Detroit Tigers the other night, where I think they were up 3-0, but then they gave up a grand slam in like the 8th inning, and it was just like classic San Diego Padres. I was like, wow, like how do you let that happen, especially when you're in a tight division race? But yeah, like I think the wild card, it's gonna come down to this: like who's gonna have the best bullpen that shows up for the rest of the month, because we're seeing teams like Seattle and Boston. They're fringe right now. I mean, I know Detroit is another fringe team. Tampa Bay, I would say any team that's below 500, I'm counting them out right now. They're not making it. They're not making it.
You mean the 32 and 110 Chicago White Sox can't make the playoffs?
I mean, they yeah, right. They're 45 and a half games behind the wild card. Yeah, they got a shot. They got a shot. No, they're 1-9 their last 10. Okay. They have a run differential of 305. Their home record 18-54. Their away record ain't any better. 14-56. So to break down that historical season of 32 and 110, they have a chance to set the record. I mean, they still got.
I don't think they do. I don't think they will set the record. I think they have like 1 or 2 wins above the record, so they don't think it's going to happen.
Okay, so they
I could be wrong.
that.
I could be wrong.
Okay, because I know that if they get to like, I think it was like, I don't know, it was like 128. Or like 128 losses, so it'd be like 18 more losses. I don't know. Yeah, like they might be running out of games to lose. Usually it's like games that you're trying to win, but yeah, the Chicago White Sox are biblically bad. 110 losses. Yeah. Yikes. Okay.
Now, would you accept relegation? Would you like to see that coming into North American sports? Relegation, like NBA. From like NBA to the G League, and like MLB to AAA, NHL to AHL, NFL to Canadian Football League,
just like the Premier League does. I think that I think that does have I think that's a fair and valid idea. Will I think that they'll actually execute it? Not likely, because Chicago's too large of a market for them to give up a baseball team, even though it is a Cubs town. I could see that, like potentially like forcing owners to actually compete, and I think that I think that might be what maybe the next commissioner, because I don't think Rob Manfred is going to make that change, but like maybe the next commissioner, I think we could potentially entertain that thought, because I like that. Like now you're in the AAA because your team the last season plus, you guys are not doing MLB. Like you're not MLB quality as a ball club. Your talent is not where it needs to be for us to have the MLB like endorse your team, right? I can definitely see that. I mean, the worst team in the NL has 89 losses. I mean, like that's how bad. Like they have almost 20 more wins than the Chicago White Sox. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. But yeah, I'm rooting for the Twins, rooting for the Royals. I'm sorry, Jim, but I think the Yankees are going to make the playoffs. Unfortunately, I know it's.
Can someone just hit someone?
Did someone
Hey,
just hit
you
someone?
want to? Oh my gosh, no. So I saw this stat again. This is on social media, so I do not follow the Yankees,
Yes.
but I did see a fun stat line. I would like someone to double check me on it. But ever since Aaron Judge has been on Paw Patrol, his flash numbers are terrible. So he went on a kid show.
Okay,
and
yeah,
then
you went on the kid
came
show,
back-
Paw Patrol, yeah.
and then came back and did worse. I gotta
That's
take
funny.
the wins when I can, man. I gotta take the wins when I can.
Right. You gotta celebrate the wins, right? You gotta celebrate the wins. All right, and then right now we got Philadelphia, Dodgers, and Brewers. I think for the most part, those are going to be the division winners. I don't see unless something crazy happens, I don't see Philadelphia losing that division lead. Dodgers, we talked about Shohei Ohtani. I think he is in line for the MVP. I think Dodgers are going to go ahead and win the NL West, and the Milwaukee Brewers. Again, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope the Brewers fall flat on their face. But I think the Brewers are going to win the division. I mean, they showed me enough so far that they're going to hold on to that lead. They're 9 games ahead right now, and that magic number is dwindling very quickly with every loss that the Cubs and the Cardinals are combining. The NL wild card, though, this is where I think this is almost like a NASCAR race here. I think there's going to be some jockeying of position. I mean, Padres, they're on the bubble too. I mean, they're leading the wild card, but they've been known to have these second half like slumps where they can bottom out. Arizona, that's another surprising team that was just in the World Series last year, but they've been able to rally back, and then they're in as the second wild card, and then Atlanta and New York Mets. I think they do play each other, so they could potentially knock each other out in a couple of their games that they do have left. And I'm hoping and praying that the Cubs can somehow sneak into the postseason. Because, come on, we're so close. We're 5 games out. You play 162 games, and you're 5 games out from potentially playing some postseason baseball where the stakes are that much higher, where you have a chance to make history for your ball club. I still am holding out hope for the Cubs. But, yeah, I'll leave it at that. A lot of exciting sports. We got hockey on the horizon, Jim. Right? Yeah. Are you? You got to make it. We got to have a 94 podcast night at the XL Energy Center.
Oh my goodness! Yes. Make it a weekend. Make it like a Sunday when the Vikings are home or away. You go to a T-Wolves game. Next day, go to a Wild game, or vice versa.
I'm down.
That would be.
We'll do it. We'll do it in October. We'll do it in October sometime. We'll do a 94 like sports weekend, and then we'll have a ball. We'll have a ball, a puck, and maybe a bat if the Twins are in postseason contention during that time. Yeah. No.
I would love to go, make it a long weekend. Saturday, you go to a Gophers game.
Right.
During the day.
Gophers game, yeah.
At night, you go to a Twins, Wild, or T-Wolves game. Next Sunday, you go to a Vikings game. Monday, you go to the other sporting event that you didn't see. And just hammer home all in a weekend.
94 podcast, Sports Mania. So it'd be like a sports weekend, and we can block that off. We'll get the logistics down. But yeah, here in the 94 podcast, make sure to in the comments, make sure to also put in your predictions of the games that we just picked. We picked the Giants Vikings. Atlanta, Pittsburgh,
Browns,
Cowboys,
Broncos, Seattle. Yep. So also put in your picks in the comment, like and subscribe, and we do appreciate you guys listening to us here on the 94 podcast. What should the punishment be? What should the punishment be for the losers? But something that's tamed enough we could put on air. Nothing like streak or nothing like that. Something that has to be that is able to be on air that we could put out there for you guys. Something that is good. Nothing too wild.
Right. Nothing too wild. I would say maybe we could do like a T-shirt or like a hat. I think a T-shirt or a hat. I think that would do us justice. Yep. T-shirt or a hat. I think that works for me. How about you?
Yeah, that works for me too.
Okay. But here on the 94 podcast, this has been really fun. Getting back into the swing of things, back to football. Make sure that your remote batteries are out for the Vikings and Giants, because there's no other game that you need to be watching unless you have the Octobox or the NFL Red Zone. But yeah, until next time here on the 94 podcast, we'll see you at the TOP. And we out. Thanks.
That is the third health insurance commercial with seniors at a farmer's market.